Hello, welcome back to the Business Advisor Global weekly podcast where we discuss the week's update about Sri Lanka. So, Mr. Viraj Henegidra has joined with us to let us know on the new updates. Welcome, Mr. Viraj.
Hi, Rahma.
So, first, could you please update us on the cabinet decisions taken at the cabinet meeting held on the 28th of April 2025?
Yes, Rahma, the main objective of doing this Business Advisor Global podcast on every weekend is to aware or else to give an idea about what's happening in Sri Lanka. So basically, 28th of April 2025, the cabinet decisions, one of the most important cabinet decision that I saw is the government is planning to connect our education department and the higher education institute with National University of Singapore for the Higher Education Corporation. So this is one of the remarkable decision that the government is trying to get in, because with that we can get the latest technology, right? Because so far all our universities are working alone, but if we can go for this kind of agreements, especially with the developed countries, even if you look at the Singapore, we can see their technology development and a lot of new inputs can be taken. So that is one of the good decision where the government has taken. And the second decision, economic census. Actually, in Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken, this was happening many years ago. 2013-14 only we had that kind of a economic census. But after that, after again 13-14 years, the Sri Lanka is again planning to have a economic census to get the agricultural activities and how many activities are involved. Those statistics we can taken from here. And apart from that, another cabinet decision was when you look at Colombo Municipal Council, right? So they have basically four sources of income called assessment tax, license fee, trade tax, stamp duty. But now this time, the Korean International Cooperation Agency is planning to fund to develop a system in order to increase or else in order to generate this income, these kind of a four taxes now you will be able to collect from the system that they are going to adopt. So that's another decision where the cabinet has approved. And there are many cabinet decisions. Out of that, the most important part I feel was the last one, that was a state commercial enterprises management draft bill. Now when you look at the Sri Lanka, as a practice, we all know that the government, all entities are making heavy losses, isn't it? Because that is the practice. All the departments, majority of the businesses ended up with a loss. And here, after what happens because of that, the general public has to bear the burden, right? Now, this time, even this government has identified that there should be a mechanism to make a profit for this organization. Now they are proposing. It says it has been recognized that the state enterprises should be restructured and maintained with the proper administration with the assistance of local and foreign investment without being continuous burden to the general treasury and the country's economy. So I think this is one of the good decision where the government has taken. With that, the foreign or the expert will be do the businesses, right? So then we can minimize our losses and government also can get a good revenue from this. So those are the summary of cabinet decisions which were made on 28th April 2025.
Okay, so that's great. Thank you for that update. So, next, would you elaborate us on the country's economic position before the local elections, Mr. Viraj?
Yeah, that's a good one, Rahma, because last week we have seen even the IMF representatives are giving positive indicators on the Sri Lankan fourth loan granted, because basically the government is the IMF is planning to issue the loan, but they have given the positive indicators because we have already complied with that. So in a way it's good. And the other side, we have seen Central Bank of Sri Lanka has released the financials, their financial statement of operations. So according to that, even the Sri Lankan Central Bank showed 274 billion profit, where it was last year 114 million loss. So it shows that the government is financially stable compared to the previous years. So I think before the election, the fund wise or else our liquidity wise, Sri Lanka is in a good position. And despite there are some negative impact from the US duty concession, duty actually basically to the tariff of the USA now, that's also in the process of negotiating. I think you have seen Sri Lankan representative already visited the USA to negotiate the tariff, because they have posed us 44%, but they have given again 90 days period, and during that period 10% will be charged. But again, Sri Lankan government has given good indicators or else good suggestions to overcome with this barrier. So with that, I hope the country's economic condition is really good compared to the last couple of years we had.
Okay, that's great. So, Mr. Viraj, any other updates that you want us to know?
Yes, Rahma. Now, within these couple of days, the president is planning to visit Vietnam. Even in the cabinet decisions, we have seen the cabinet has approved to sign some agreement with the Vietnam. So that is another positive indicator where even though Sri Lanka is losing businesses with Europe countries, especially with this US tariff, if we are in position to find out new markets, even in the Asian region, that would be great. So that is one of the best decisions that the president has taken to visit Vietnam. And again, the Sri Lankan local government election will be held on 6th. So 6th mean only very few days we are having. So we can't, we don't know what will happen in the election, but the country's mechanism or even the central government has proved that when it comes to financial transaction, they are having a really good transparency. So the people are more believing the government. The credibility has already been created. So with that, even the international community are planning to invest in Sri Lanka. Even we can see the port city program. Now, a lot of people are keen on interest in port city. So I think if you are represent diaspora of Sri Lanka, the people who are in overseas, who are our country, citizens of our country, it's ideal time for you to invest in here, because the country situation is good and the economic indicators are proving really well, and even the tourism is booming. Now we are expecting 3 million. So my invitation for all the diaspora, so why don't you invest in Sri Lanka? This is the ideal time.
So, thank you so much, Mr. Viraj, for those updates. So, if you are a one who is keen on starting a new business, we from Business Advisor Global are planning to start a new podcast on it. So, stay tuned for more updates. Thank you, Mr. Viraj.
Thank you very much.